Thank you for being here. I'm very happy chatting with you. Lauro Chartrand-Del Valle, right?
Got it.
Yeah, writer, director, and the producer of the Protectors of the Land. And Nathaniel Arcand, he portrays Wayne Strongbow in the movie. My first question is for you, Lauro. How was the story born?
I was researching different stories on the internet at the time, and I came across a story about the Mexican drug cartel taking over the drug trade in Alaska in real life. And they had just been caught by the DEA bringing their cocaine and their fentanyl into Alaska. And the way they were muling it into Alaska was they would, in Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, the southern states, they would strap the cocaine and fentanyl onto women and then put a dress on them or whatever and throw them on a flight and send them to Alaska because you're not crossing any borders. Nobody was checking anything, right? Because you're flying from one
Wow.
state to another United State. And they finally got caught by accident where a drug hound sniffed out one of the girls when he was sniffing the baggage. She was just on her way through the baggage area, and the dog all of a sudden went to her. And so they checked her out, they caught her. Then they started looking at any women, single women, women traveling alone, coming to Alaska. They started sniffing them out, and they started
Wow.
catching up with it. So the drug cartel had to find a different way to get their drugs into Alaska. So I just kind of took the story from there and went, okay, how would I get the drugs into Alaska? I know they're getting a lot of drugs into Canada. So if I got it into Canada, then how do I get it into Alaska? Well, I would probably get a plane and I would drop it in a lake in the wilderness, not too far from the Alaskan border. And then I'd drop some people in there and get them to mule it across. So that was where it was all born from dropping the drugs. And then the story just came out from there. Also, my heart always goes out to the indigenous communities that are annihilated by drugs and alcohol, and these horrible people that push it and force it on people and sell it and they just flood communities with that stuff and it just ruins so many lives. So anyway, I wanted to put them taking it back. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that was the whole point of the matter.
Wow, that's great. Uh, the I saw the movie twice, and actually the second time when I realized that you are in it too, as Mike. So, but not telling too much. My favorite scene is when Wayne and Craig are fighting.
Yeah, we were
It
talking about
was
that.
it
Yeah.
was not only intense, but it was also emotional. Nathaniel, do you have a favorite scene in the movie? If you can talk about it.
Yeah, I think that one was one of them for sure. That definitely, that's really the first scene that comes to my mind when I think about
Mm,
this like the most. And the scene in the house with Graham too, you know,
mm,
the after right
yeah,
after that whole little section of the movie was pretty, sad and a bit
yeah.
so, I mean, the action is fun and all that stuff, but when you get to act and try to bring out some emotion, like that, that's the drama. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
Where you got to do that. The action is all like ah.
How did you prepare for the fighting scene?
Just trying to stay limber and stretch and work out a little bit and just
Mm,
mentally be there as well and always pay attention. Safety is always first,
mm,
things. So,
It was a rush. It was a rush. So, I mean, time wise, we had an
yeah.
hour that whole scene with the fight and the dialogue and all that emotional stuff and everything. So it was a mad rush. We had already shot the stuff inside the bar,
Mm,
and so we had to get it that night and go back behind the bar and get that shot. And we were moving the tent out, and my producing partner was like, "Oh, there's no way. We're gonna have to come back here tomorrow night somehow.
mm,
Some have to find a way." And I said, "No, we're gonna get it tonight. We're gonna get it tonight. You just watch." I knew these guys were on point. Him and Tim, they learned it just like that because the stunt
mm,
boy, we had put it together before, and then the two doubles showed them, the moves, and then these guys just picked it up like clockwork, and they did the whole thing. So it was great. We didn't have to cut and switch out the guys and take extra time doing that. We just kept rolling cameras. The camera guys never took. They just okay, over here now, over here. Okay, now we're shooting this angle. Okay, keep going.
Does it mean that Nathaniel didn't have a stunt double?
Oh yeah,
You did all your stunt?
Pat Alec is his name, and he was my stunt double. And like we were talking about earlier today too, about the show was like we had only had so much time to film it. So there was scenes where I'm in the costume, and then or I'm like me dressed now, but they had to have me in costume. But the next scene, so Pat would be that guy in the next.
Oh, okay.
So I devised the shots so there's certain times when I could shoot Pat, his stunt double, as the warrior, and then he would be himself, and then we would then while I was shooting something with Tanea or Tim, then he would go change into the warrior costume when I needed his close-ups.
Wow.
Pat would go to his other costume, and we would shoot him from behind, being the human form of it. So we constantly juggled them back and forth like that to save time, and our schedule was only 14 days, so we had to I just really had to have everything set up and ready to go.
Yeah, it worked.
It was a combo. Val Halverson was our costume designer, and she was amazing, and our makeup team was amazing, which of course gives him the teeth and the makeup and and the scariness of his face for the close-ups. But the costume really brought it home for sure.
And the soundtrack as well. I loved it. I love when the music fit perfectly for the scenes, and this is what happened in the movie, that it just fit perfectly. So, and it's beautiful. I loved it. Can you talk about the soundtrack?
Yeah, well, that has so much to do with the movie, other than the sound and the music as well. So Stevie Salis, he's one of the top 50 guitarists in the world. He played with Rod Stewart and Mick Jagger. He's an old rock and roller, right?
Yeah.
And we met previously. And then my partner, Charlene Royer, she was an executive producer on the film, and she found one of his songs. She said, "You got to listen to this song. It's called Forgive and Remember. You got to listen to it." So I was coming home from another set, and I put it on, and I listened to it on the way home and just cranked it up. And I could have swore that song was written for this movie. Like, it talks about running from whites and Mexicans and all that stuff. And in the song, it said Apaches running into the desert sun. That's the only piece of the song that I asked him to change, and he changed it to Red Man running into the midnight sun.
Oh, okay.
We're in Alaska in the story.
Yeah.
So he changed it to that. He went back in the studio, re-recorded that piece, and he gave us that song for our theme song, which opens the movie and closes the movie. And he gave us a couple of his other songs, Older Than America, and then he did some composing of some of the other musical moments. But Charlene came on also as a music, I guess, advisor or finder or whatever, because she found a lot of the stuff that our editor, Hugues St. Louis, used as temp music, we fell in love with. And it worked perfectly for the scene. So there was no need to change it. But she did all the tracking down to find and get the rights for that music so that we could use it. Or we got another artist in Los Angeles to redo it and make it just a bit different so it's not copyright infringement. But we had, Charlene was helping me pick the right moments and the right music and get the right emotions out. And sometimes we'd like, oh no, this is.
It turned out perfect. I'm telling you.
So it was very interesting. And Stevie, not only did he help us with the music and give us those songs, and he was also, I brought him on as a consulting producer for the Indigenous content. And he's really good friends, best friends with Graham Greene, so who I couldn't get originally, but he talked Graham into it. Graham didn't even know what he was saying no to originally. He didn't even read the script or anything. So Stevie got him to read the script, and then he said, "Hey, this is good. I like this." So then he came on board, and we had him play the father. And when I was writing, I heard his voice all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted Graham. That's who I heard from the time I started writing it.
You ruined my next question. This is the next I wanted to ask, but I'm asking Nathaniel now, that how was it to work with Graham Greene, because he is a legend.
My goodness. This is like his fourth time or fifth time being my dad on a movie of some sort, We go back, this guy and I. And our first movie together was called
Savage Land.
Savage Land.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it was like it was kind of a B movie, but it was my first ever movie, and Graham was my dad. So I was like, wow, you know, and I was an ex amazing experience. And then there he is years later, my dad again, and then another couple years later, my dad again.
oh, okay.
So, but this time was more special than any other time because I mean, I have to say I really bonded with Graham a little bit, you know, even though we didn't really talk to each other, but that our history of whatever it was, we forgave each other and loved each other and made it
Wow,
together. And he was my dad, and I was his son. And
that's
I,
great.
I've never, you know, I've always admired him. So it's always awesome, you know, be
Mm.
around.
Do you have a favorite indigenous actor or actress?
Ah, me?
You.
Well, you know, if I think about it, it probably would have been Chief Dan George.
Now, he was saying me, like meaning him. He's his favorite.
Oh, 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 sorry. I misunderstood. Oh, okay, okay.
Chief Dan George was
Oh
my
yeah, yeah.
favorite
He was.
right from the beginning, and like there's Gordon Tatuse's Tantu Cardinal. I mean, the list goes on.
Wes
There's
Studi.
Wes Studi.
Oh, Rise
Uh,
to the oh, his performance in the Last of the Mohicans, it was award winning. He's
what's his name? Samson. He was on the Clint Eastwood movie, The Drifter, or what's
High Plains Drifter.
High Plains Drifter, where he rides out and meets that big tribe, and
Oh yeah, yeah,
he's killed 10 bears or something like
something
that.
like
Anyway,
that.
Will Sampson.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, and
yeah.
those kind of guys made me want to be an actor, especially Chief Dan George, right? So
Mm.
uh, and now today everybody's an actor and a dog, but you know, whatever. That's the name of the game, right? But
Yeah.
the people that are still here today with us, you know, like I mean, maybe a few of them, the old timers, but those guys paved the way for all this young actors, native actors to, you know, I think I'm like the second or third generation of that, you know,
Hmm.
that movement, and because really it's I can't say I have a real favorite these days. I mean, I'd have to say it's Graham, probably. Yeah, Graham. Is
Or too many
that a
too
long answer or
yeah,
what?
yeah, all of them, right?
Or
Okay. Yeah, Lauro, I have seen Zach Santiago in the series Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and now seeing him playing a bad guy, he portrayed this bad guy really good. So, why did you choose him?
Zach and I have been friends for 30 years, probably. We worked on a lot of different projects together. And here in Vancouver, it's also very hard to find Latino actors.
Oh,
Uh, and I had to have the Mexican Cartel, and he is, without a doubt, the best Latino actor here in Western Canada. And so I went straight to him and went, "Here's this part's for you, brother. And if you're available, I'd really love to have you." And he read the script and jumped right on board. And I was really happy that he did, and he made that character just pop off the page. You know what I mean? So yeah,
yeah.
we've been. This was a really different process for me because I've been in the business for so long and I know so many actors and so many people and so many of them are my friends and I want to, hire them. But I really had to go through the casting process on this one. And there's only two or three people that I just called directly and said, I need you to do this, job. And
Mm.
Nathaniel and the rest I had to audition and I thought I was going to give the roles to some of my other friends that I thought could do the part. And then these other people that auditioned just blew them out of the water. So take, for instance, Corey Woods, who played Trish, and Patrick Rokas, who played Luke.
Yeah.
Those two just killed it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a quick story about Trish, about Corey Woods. She came on in a self tape, and she popped onto the screen, and I went swipe left, and Charlene smacks me in the shoulder. She says, "Watch it." She did the self. Gotta watch it. I said, "Okay, okay." So I go back, and why did I do that? Because I'm colorblind, and I don't like redheads. They look like greenheads to me, so they look kind of like aliens. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So she says,
Okay.
just watch your tape. She put the word, and then she came on and she had a mousy little voice. Hi, my name is, you know, and I'm like, oh no, she's not going to be this redneck hardcore chick. So I swiped again, and she goes, watch the tape, you know. So I brought it back again. I said, okay, I'll watch it. And she comes on. Hi, I'm Corey Woods. And then, okay, she's turning it on. I said, goes into this accent, and I was just like, oh my god, oh my god. And I told the casting director I want someone to be like Ruth on Ozark or Teeter on Yellowstone, or a mix of those two. And she nailed it. And I went, oh my god, that's the girl, that's Trish. And I could do nothing but hire her, you know what I mean? So
I don't
I,
blame you. She was great for
yeah,
sure.
and I was just so happy with the whole cast, and to
Mm.
get on board. Tim was came out of a rewrite. Originally, there was no Caucasians in the script. Basically, I was writing a strictly Native American story,
Yeah.
and I ran into a lot of pushback as I had different people read it and say, you know, you're going to have a real problem with this. And I didn't want to put in a Caucasian character and make them the savior. No, I didn't
Yeah.
want the ones to save these people. I wanted them to save
Yeah.
themselves, right? With their own spirituality and their own, you know, methods and their own morals. And he just happened to be a brother-in-law who helped, but he wasn't the savior. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing. And Tim really loved that about it. So that really helped bring him on board, which I was happy about.
I was just gonna say it was amazing to work with Tim.
Oh,
Great, love him.
He was the wild card. So these guys were him and Tanea and Graham. They're all worked together before, and they're all kind of sitting around. Who's this Tim guy, and what's he?
Yeah.
But he was,
Nathaniel, do you have some cool or funny behind the scenes story to tell?
Let me think.
was it the teeth? Was it the makeup or the costume?
The teeth? Well, you
Hard
know,
to top with those things.
yeah, the scene when I'm screaming and yelling my lines and I had these teeth and I'm spitting and there's spit coming out and you can I don't know if you've ever put things in your mouth to try to talk, like the old vampire teeth, you know?
No,
That
but I
just like
guess it's not easy.
so I had to figure a way to try to talk without trying to use my lips and more guttural God, like that, right? So it kind of worked.
It did. You know, the scene where he's talking to the boy at the end, you know,
Yeah.
we didn't have to change those. We didn't have to ADR them or anything. We used the original audio from that. So he found a way to make himself heard.
Yeah, move my mouth in there, but I had to just kind of keep my lips off of those freaking things, right? Because otherwise, when my lips touch it, that's when it make that slurry sound, right? So
Yeah.
I had to do it quick too, like you know, like I said, like what do they say? What's the line? I'm like, oh, anyway,
You're
I
asking the writer? Why would I know?
I know. Anyway, I had to yell. If you watch the scene again, that's me just yelling through those teeth, trying to like no, and like the first two takes was like, you know, muffled and mumbly, but the third, I think, third take.
It's a
was
good thing that I just remembered the lines, but I'm not going to say them because it's a spoiler.
Yeah, we don't want spoilers, right?
I think I can't really think of anything too funny because I mean me being in a loincloth in the nighttime and freezing my ass off, but that might have been, I don't know.
We were so going 100 miles an hour. I mean, we all had a lot of fun, and the energy was great on set. And we were talking about that today. It's from the top down. If the energy's good, everybody's having a good time and stuff like that. But we didn't have much time to joke around or have any side, you know, not too many beers or anything like that. But on a kind of stressful but funny situation. So I had picture car guy who took care of most of the vehicles, but I had to take care of two, my own and a friend of mine that I was borrowing. So Trish and Luke were in the redneck truck, the big 4x4 that
Yeah.
belonged to stunt buddies. And so he gave me his truck to use for the movie, and I gave him my truck to use to go to work. But I want my truck in the movie to be the cartel guys, the bad guys' truck.
Yeah.
I wrapped, I got especially some stuff done to it to look like the cartel truck. And the day came that I needed the cartel truck, and I woke up at 5 and getting ready to head to set. Oh shit, I got to switch trucks. And but it's 5 in the morning, and I had to drive right through his town on the way to the set. So I texted him and called him, and I said, "Hey, I'm on my way to your place. I'm gonna trade trucks with you this morning." He says, "I'm not home. I'm already up in Squamish doing The Last of Us." And I couldn't drive that way and get to work on time to direct today's work. So I was like, "Oh no, I don't have a truck for the cartel." Fortunately, one of my other stunt guys who was playing the role, the guy in the beginning that, gets that happen to him,
Yeah.
he had a very similar truck, a big 4x4 black truck. And so we used it for the cartel guys. And I was going to have the cartel guys come in two vehicles, the black 4x4 and then the Mercedes G-Wagon, which, was more fancy that
Yeah.
cartel leader drives, and he pulled up in. So we go driving through the woods, and it's really muddy and stuff. And then all of a sudden he's getting away from me, and all of a sudden, whoa, we just got stuck with that thing. But it was stuck right in the background of the shot when I had to turn around and look at the vehicles. So we were panicking, and I tried to find a way to shoot that way until they could get it pulled out of the trees and get it out of there. And then I just had all the cartel guys pile in the one truck and get out of there and find Tim in the clearings. It was fix it on the fly. It was it's funny and crazy all at the same time.
I think everybody came with their game faces on, like everybody, like all the actors. There was like Lauro said, there was no time for anything, like because we just had to get these scenes done. There was tons of scenes every day. We were nailing them, and they were like 1-2 takes and then done, moving on.
We did some days we did 70 setups, which most films shoot anywhere between 30 and 40 if they're moving fast. And we were doing up to 70 some days. And these guys came so prepared. I never had to do a second take. I would do a second take or a third take for certain aesthetic reasons or shot wise, but never because of dialogue. These guys knew their lines. They were so prepared. Everybody brought their A game, 100%.
You chose the right people, right?
Yeah. And I mean, these guys all blew me away. Him, Graham, Tim, they all gave me tears. Like they were just so into the emotional parts of it. I couldn't believe it. It was great. A ranch called Jamestown here in Langley, 100 acres. So it has the cabin in the woods. It has the logging roads. It had Tanea and Tim's house. And that same house was also Graham's house. But on the other side, it had siding differently. And there were some trees here. So I could shoot it from one way. And that's Tim and Tanea's house. And then we shot over here, and that's Graham's house, where they went to the front door. And he's, "Who's there?" or whatever he said. And, "What the hell do you want?"
Is there any actress or actor that, this question is for both of you, that you would like to work with in the future?
Oh, how long have we got? God, there's a list.
So you have a long list, I assume.
Tell you what, I just finished a movie called Cowboy, and Ben Foster played the lead. Now, I was a Ben Foster fan before, from Hell or High Water. That's one of my favorites that he was in. But to get to work with him, he's just a down-to-earth, chilled guy, really great method actor, and just a guy's guy. And we had a great time on this cowboy movie, and I'd love to work with him again and direct him one day. So he's on my list big time for that, for sure.
And who is on your list, Nathaniel?
Well, like Lauro said, that's a huge list nowadays. There's so many actors out there, and people are coming up. But one guy that sticks out in my mind right now, it's kind of just been in everything, and I like his acting, is Lewis Pullman.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Bill Pullman's son.
Oh wow, yeah.
And he's in that new movie Thunderbolts, Marvel, whatever, and he plays Sentry, Bob Sentry. And he's been in a ton of other shows, and I just like he's got a kind of a weird face. I mean, it's not weird. It's just he's got a different look, and but acting is really good. It's on, and I like when actors are like crisp with their stuff, and it's you can believe it. Like I'm one of those actors. I can see it's acting, or you can make me cry or laugh or get angry. Then I know you're acting. Your acting's really good. But if I see the acting, then I go, it's like, I click the channel. I'm like, yeah, moving on. Like Chris Hart. What's that guy? Hart. I'm kidding. What's his name? I don't know. There's so many actors out there just doing it for the bucks, and you can tell. But there's actors out there. They know they're getting paid good, but they're giving you all their shit, right? So that's what I always look for in acting, right? Like they just they bring out the emotion that's supposed to be in that scene.
You take somebody like Mel Gibson, he's been in big budget, low budget, but he always brings his A game.
Yeah,
You
Mel
always
Gibson.
love his characters, his acting. You know, he never. There's two other guys that I really want to work with one day and maybe have the chance to direct, and that's Sam Elliott and Billy Bob Thornton. Those two guys, I really respect them and like their work. And in my next movie, I need a guy with a voice that's recognizable. So I'm hoping to get Sam Elliott.
Oh, okay.
I want this guy, and I want Tim, and I want everybody.
Lauro, I know your work from Prison Break season 5. And I'm curious if you still do stunt work or only directing and producing and writing and little acting as well.
I'm a jack of all trades. I love it all. I love everything. So it just depends on my schedule. So I still do stunt work when I have. And like even on Protectors, I was a stunt double for David Cage on there.
Yeah, I killed him
Yeah.
in the
yeah.
That threw him against the wall. That was him.
I know you were the first who was killed. Yeah.
And Mike Mule was going to be one of my executive producers. One of my investors was going to play that role. And then he got called away on a business trip. And so I'm like, who else am I going to get to play this? Because I didn't have any more money to pay another actor. So I was the only one left.
Oh, so that's why you choose yourself. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I'll do stunts. I'll coordinate. I'll second unit direct. I got to say, I don't like acting too much. That's why I didn't say too much in the movie.
Yeah.
I didn't want any dialogue or, I'll just be the guy that gets killed and get me out of it. But I've done
first to get rid of, huh?
I've probably done about 60 acting roles, but it's just, say 2 words and then I get killed, sort of thing.
Nathaniel, do you have a dream role that you would love to play one day?
Well, this role already is pretty cool. Superhero-ish, action. We just have to work on the outfit for the next movie. That's all. But I think these kind of roles, I'm all for sci-fi. I want to be in a Star Trek movie. Truthfully, I want to be a captain of a starship. And I've never seen a native starship captain yet. And come on, you're putting too many damn women and kids being the captains these days. Make a native man my age the captain. Like. I get it, putting the women in these lead roles now and stuff, and kids, bringing up the kids, but it's just too many of it. You know what I mean? Like everything in Marvel is that now. Everything in all these other shows now. What happened to the adult-based movies that we used to all watch? If you look right from up to like 90s, 2000, they're all adult movies. Like the adult stars, the adults are doing, and they're believable roles. They're a lawyer, they're a doctor, they're a surgeon, not a kid surgeon, not a kid genius who's making these AI robotics. It's just not real for me to watch this kind of stuff anymore. So for me, I want to see more older people. That means me, these roles, like as a captain of a starship or even a Jedi. Why don't we have native Jedis? They're definitely Jedis.
Good question.
Stuff like that. Or why haven't we seen one person, a native person in Jurassic Park? It's always Asians, blacks, whites, everybody else. Where's the natives? Like that's why I try to break down those stereotypes. All these 30 plus years I've been an actor, I've been knocking on those doors the whole time. I want to be in this fantasy movie. I want to be in this horror. I want to be in this action film. Let me do it. Let me put me the lead, I've always been there for these past 30 years and they still haven't used me in any of that stuff, right? So what can you do? You have to wait for a guy like Lauro to come around and put you in the lead, But I'm very grateful and I've had a good career, but I still want more, of course.
Of course.
This is one of the first steps to that, I think,
And I'm working on the sequel, so
I hope to see you more on screen anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple movies coming out. Let's quickly blur them. There's one's called, I think it's called Viper, but we filmed that. It's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi. That's all I'll say about it. And then another movie called Train Dreams with Joel Edgerton, which comes out on Crave or Prime, I think, in
Mm.
November. And those kind of stuff, those are drama stuff. But there's that movie Sinners.
Have you seen him in Sinners?
Not yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah.
I'm a vampire hunter, and I only
Wow.
had the scene, and I've gotten so much attention from that because of that. People like, I saw you on Sinners. I saw you on Sinners. Like, when are you going to make a spin-off of that? Like vampire hunters, native
Yeah,
vampire
exactly.
hunters.
Yeah,
And that's what I'm like. I will do that movie for sure.
Great.
that'll be huge. That'll be huge. If
Yeah.
Ryan Coogler doesn't write it, I'll write it and we'll make it.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, if you're listening, please just do it. Come on.
You.
Nathaniel, can you teach us one word in Cree?
Well, I'll teach you 10. Peak, niso, nisto, neo, nitin, nikto, Opiananio, Kiga, mitata, mitata. That's
Oh,
one.
okay.
Nehiao,
Yeah.
Esqueo, man, woman.
Oh, okay. What
Uh,
about thank you?
Hi, hi.
Hi, hi. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's still words. I mean, you have to ask me because I can't think of anything right now off the top of my. I remember a song when I was a kid. But my grandpa used to sing, they call them 49ers, and doom, 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 Edmonton, the Tutean, the Munya Square, to the Square Nook. That's pretty much it. It's basically saying, I'm going to Edmonton and find me a white woman. I know it's a weird, funny song, and it's like, why do I remember that? But my grandpa, a lot. He used to sing a bunch of songs back in the day, but that one we always laugh at, right? So it's funny.
The Cree culture, I would love to hear a little bit about it.
I can quickly go over it. I mean, Cree is actually a derivative of Kristino, which was a word given to the Nehiawak, which is the original name of our people. Nehiawak are people from the Algonquin people, the original people. Goes back tens and tens of thousands of years ago, even hundreds of thousands of years ago. Our people have been on that continent, this continent, and the Algonquin were the first people. And Nehiawak came from there. Haudenosaunee came from there. All these people that you know, like Ojibwe, Mi'kmaq, Mohawks, Iroquois, they're all part of the Algonquin. Anyway, Nehiawaks, when they were fur trading back in the James Bay days, they came across Jesuits and they traded furs for the Bible and a rifle. And so they were first ones to hold the Bible, and so they called them Christianos, followers of Christ.
Oh,
That's
okay.
so then they eventually got shortened down to Cree, and then that's how they're known as Cree for the rest of that, and then up until now. But their original name is Nehiawak,
So, okay.
the
Thank
people.
you. Yeah, I understand. Uh-huh. Well, thank you so much.
There's a good history lesson that I'm sure a lot of you know about.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for talking and answering all my questions. I'm truly grateful, and
Well, thanks, Sam,
I
for asking this.
Yeah,
It
thank
was
you.
it was a great excuse for us to get together and have lunch.
Yeah.
And
Good.
just picked him up from the airport, flew in from Montreal. So picked him up at the airport. I went to the dentist, then we had lunch, and now here we are. So it's good.
I recommend the movie to everyone because this is a must-watch movie because
I
it's
recommend it to
I
everyone.
I definitely
Yeah.
would recommend it for everybody to watch. It's fun, and I mean, I maybe not let you little kids watch it, but you know, teenage the little
no,
ones.
it's definitely not for kids, but it's a great movie and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much.
And to the full cast and crew, thank you again for being here and enjoy the rest of the day together.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Angie.
see you on screen soon, right?
Okay,
Yes.
and we'll see you on Instagram.
Okay. Thank you, guys.